Counter-Strike Condition Zero, a game everyone owned back in the day, but one that people probably never played, because why play it when you got 1.6 or Source? There never really was a place for it. People who love 1.6 just continue playing 1.6, and people who wanted something fresh waited a few more months longer to get a really fresh version of Counter-Strike with Source. This game came out in the same year as Half-Life 2. When you look at that game and then look at this, you really can see what a huge jump it was going from the Gold Source engine to just the Source engine. But this only happened because of countless delays, because normally the game should have released way sooner. So it's not really fair to compare it like that. Poor little Condition Zero, that little brother that nobody really cared about. First, it was supposed to be developed by Rogue Entertainment, mostly known for their Quake, Mission Packs or American MC Jesus Alice, but they went defunct and then Valve had to look for someone else, Gearbox, who developed Half-Life add-ons and are mostly known for the Borderlands franchise nowadays. But yet again, they went into trouble and Valve had to now look for another developer to give it to, Ritual Entertainment, who weren't exactly that well known, but they did make a game called Heavy Metal Fuck 2. The FAKK, or FUCK, stands for Federation Assigned Ketogenic Killzone to the second level. Beats me what that really means, but the title is just kinda funny, so if I would have been Valve, I would have picked them too. The development on it was kinda rough for them, and they went through layoffs, but still finished to develop the game. But when Valve gave the game to playtesters and even review copies to reviewers, they didn't seem to like it very much. Valve said, oh heck no, we can't release that shit or else our reputation will tank, and started development on it yet again, this time with Turtle Rock Studios, who turned it into the game we nowadays know. The normal Condition Zero is basically just 1.6 but a bit prettier, a few new maps and a campaign mode which can't really be called a campaign. You just play through the normal maps and do a few challenges on them like killing enough enemies, rescuing enough hostages, etc. But the real forgotten campaign are the deleted scenes. The single player mode that Ritual Entertainment made still got released alongside the game after Valve polished it up a bit and also added a few scrapped missions later on with free updates. Woohoo! Free DLC, I love it. Let's find out if this is worth the time you're gonna spend with it or not. Also, please forgive me for playing this masterpiece in 16:9 and in 1080p. Back in the day, I played 4:3 and had my own very amazing config and all of that, but I haven't played 1.6 since they patched it to kill it off so people finally switch over to Global Offensive, but it's a whole different story. Even the menu screen is clearly not meant for this resolution, look at all that blackness on the right side. So from here you can either start the real campaign, which is just a bunch of missions in the set order, or you can pick the extra missions that are unlocked from the start since they came with the free updates. And first things first, there is no greater story. Every mission is set in its own little part of the world, never playing the same person twice, which I think is totally fine. Just a bit weird they wouldn't just allow you to pick any mission you want right from the start, since they don't relate to each other anyways, but I guess by unlocking the other missions, it gives you a sense of progression and to keep you hooked. I've done the whole campaign and a few bonus missions, and at times this would probably feel like a narrated let's play. But first let me ask you an important question. When you think of games with great stealth gameplay, what games do you think of? Thief? Metal Gear Solid? Splinter Cell? No, for me personally, I think of Counter-Strike. There are stealth missions in the game and playing them made me ask myself, why did they feel the need to add those? Nobody likes forced stealth sections in games that are clearly not cut out for it. Let's take this little amazing bonus mission called Miami Heat. Some robbers got into a bank and took hostages, so now it's up to us to help the hostages and kill those dirty robbers. Hostages are not a new thing to Counter-Strike, and some hostage maps are really fun like Assault. Sorry Office, but I do not like you that much, except for a silly gun game or deathmatch, and for the little weasel easter egg in the wall, sadly removed in Global Offensive. At the start of the mission, there's two guys going down, so I go down too. To the left you get electrocuted. If you go through the middle first, you get steamed to death. There's no way to go unless you do some exploration and disable the electricity and also the valves. So how did my teammates get through this part? Did they go through this part and then just activated all the stuff again because they hate me? What did I ever do to these guys? Am I such an asshole to work with? So you do some puzzling stuff like shoving boxes around to jump on, pressing buttons and stuff, which is honestly pretty nice. It's not just mindless shooting all the time, but figuring out the way to go too sometimes. It really feels like Half-Life X Counter-Strike at times, which just makes total sense. I don't really have to explain why, right? Same engine and everything. I grew up with the Gold Source engine and it still just feels so nice to play with. And it's not just nostalgic feelings. Even people picking up the first Half-Life would still love it, hopefully. But back to the mission. Also, where did my friend come from? That gate is clearly closed and he just drops in from nowhere. I didn't mean to shoot him either, I just got a bit jumpscared by him. It surprised me that it didn't end the mission immediately though, like normally in other games when you shoot your own people they go like, hey, why did you do that? End the mission. Now we are finally inside the bank though, and the real fun can begin. There's no real stealth mechanic really, except the tool. You trust your little phone gadget and also the stupidness of the AI. The first time I didn't even use my gadget since I didn't know how to really. You gotta stand in the precise spot where the logo pops up in the top left corner or else you can't use it. Too bad there's parts where you are not allowed to use it, so you just kinda have to hope the guy isn't around. But even if he's around, you can also just easily show yourself while he goes, huh? Is anyone there? So you can just step back and wait and then repeat it. Look at this part. I am trying to use my gadget, but it won't allow me to, so I have no other choice than getting lucky he won't stand right there and, well, he did. Why does it only work at specific corners? Let me use it at any corner I want, then this wouldn't be so annoying. Nice picture of Jesus though. I bet it saved me when I couldn't see around the corner. I'm a firm believer now. Thank you, Jesus. I believe in you now. Thank you. After saving some hostages, you're finally allowed to enter the main lobby and wait a bit for them to signal you to shoot and kill. I love killing, but don't do it too early or else it will still fail the mission. My blood loss was just too strong. Also rest in pieces to this guy who blocked the doors so I couldn't walk through despite knowing there's still some enemies coming from there. He gave his life for nothing. And then the mission just ends. No result screen or anything like that. Just straight back to the select mission screen for you to pick your next mission. As anticlimactic as possible. Why not at least give a simple screen that tells you how long you took, your headshot weight, anything. And in missions, it also just always cuts back to black and then right into the next mission. And that's where I'm going to cut the video to now too, without a real introduction. The first real mission is Black Hawk Down inspired. You crash landing with the helicopter in North Africa and have to survive till you can be extracted. Just mow down a bunch of people, shoot at your own comrades. I did it way too often throughout the game, and then have your mate act like a total idiot and not wanting to follow you despite you clearing the way and needing him to get to the helicopter. The other friend I made was way cooler than this dumb American. This guy here is George, that's what I call him, and he's a suicide bomber. Not a cool job, but he tried killing me and didn't disappear and just stayed there. How obedient of him. It is a nice little introduction mission that shows you what you can expect of the game, but your companion kinda ruins the end of it. I thought it's telling me there's still enemies somewhere whenever he said, no way, I'm not going any further, but there were none. I checked, there was nothing and he still didn't want to go. Or I thought I'm going too far away from him, but nope, he's just that dumb that you have to keep telling him to follow you or else he won't.
Any further.
Lost Cause, a mission taking place in the Philippines where some terrorists took Germans, yay, Germany mentioned, as the hostages. Luckily you don't have to extract them yourself, but instead you're gonna do a stealth section that goes on for exactly not even a minute, before it becomes a bang bang mission. And it kinda sucked. It's mostly in very narrow corridors with tripwires that you can either sneak under, jump over, or just shoot them to make them explode, and tons of explosive barrels everywhere too. Sorry, but if I would be a terrorist, I am not one, I swear, please do not arrest me, I would not want that many barrels that easily explode around me, especially since some of these dumb terrorists just shoot them despite dying because of them too. Look, I just wanted to walk around the corner and died because the enemy shot the hacking barrel and I went kaboom with it, despite not being able to know a barrel was there. So I had to start the whole mission again. It was also the buggiest level in a way, like the red dot from the dead sniper dude still being on me after I killed him, or every time I died after a specific point and the game loaded again my save, my weapon would automatically start shooting and waste my ammo, which happened later on in later stages, so it wasn't just this stage. And oh lord, I went out of ammo on this stage quite a lot towards the end for some reason. I don't know if I just missed a lot, but for some reason this stage did not have a lot of ammo for me. So many enemies around every corner, everything that explodes killing you instantly basically. People having bazookas, some freaking dude camping in a tree, a truck crashing through the wall. It got a bit frustrating, but somehow it was still kind of fun. Mostly because of the funny German accent of the guy on the walkie-talkie. Scheiße, verdammt, what's the delay? Schnell!
Scheiße, this place is booby-trapped. Everybody keep your eyes open for tripwires. What's the delay? Schnell!
After that, we get a mission in Russia. Two terrorist groups infiltrated a silo with a nuke and they're trying to launch it. Not a very good thing, I think. But also to be fair, launching a nuke can be a good thing, depending on where it lands. I would not elaborate on that. Look, I'm playing Half-Life, dead scientists laying around. It's pretty straightforward. but I think it's cool that it's two terrorist groups instead of just one, because you can see them shooting each other too at some parts in the level, and it makes me think, what are the odds of two terrorist groups infiltrating a specific missile silo at the same time? One is already fairly unlikely, but two on the same day? And why couldn't they just band together and be like, whoa, new friends? No, they won't have a chance. Maybe one of the groups didn't want to send a nuke while the other group wanted to. We could have talked it out. We don't always need to resort to violence, but that's just the nature of humans, despicable beings, full of darkness and hate. They could have also just played rock, paper, scissors to see whose plan they should follow. But anyways, it has the coolest scene in the whole game. Watch this. That is the highlight of the whole game for me. Who cares about getting followed by a helicopter and shooting it down? Who cares about mowing down tons of enemies in this big standoff? Who cares about defusing a nuclear nuke when you got a forklift crashing into boxes to clear the way? This one moment will stay in my mind forever. No, excuse me, I gotta go and play my favorite forklift simulator developed by Günther and Klaus. Then things get even crazier and you plant a bomb to explode the reactor so the nuke won't work anymore, and your commander sacrifices himself to stay with it to make sure nobody interferes. What a chat. Whip to a real one. Then you get onto the truck and drive home, but the terrorists want to ruin your day for some reason, and they got a helicopter and they try to kill you and the truck. If I were one of the terrorists, I would rather just go home, but guess they really hate me for destroying their plans. Luckily the pirate sucks, so it's pretty easy to shoot it down. Next up is a mission in Latvia, and it's about another nuclear nuke. Oh no. You know what's even worse? Half of it is stealth, but luckily the AI is still dumber than me, so at some points I could just run around like a dummy and they wouldn't know what hit them. Also look at these amazing paper physics. Wow. And this amazing conversation between two friends.
Hey, you got the light?
Nope.
You sure?
Yep.
I saw you light the cigarette outside.
Wasn't me.
Of course it was. I've known you for 6 years.
Look, I am tired of losing my lighter. Go ask somebody else.
See if I loan you any smokes next time you're out.
That's what I call true friendship. Beautiful. Like I mentioned, half of the mission is stealth, and the second part of it is basically just you shooting away through hordes of enemies. And to be fair, it's not that bad this time, and you can feel they tried the best with this stealth mission. You can overhear some conversations, they try to bait you with sleeping soldiers that wake up when you are too loud near them, like this one where you gotta both open the door and if you don't hide you get caught, or this one where you are not allowed to use the normal way since there's a bottle that will break and wake him up, so you gotta find a different way. When you finally get to your position, you quickly snap a picture of the nuke and upload it to your Instagram and tell your commander, yep, they got a nuke, get in here. But the leader of them wants away with the bomb, and now you gotta chase him through the cold streets full of snow, and I love games with snow, mostly because I love the sound of footsteps in snow. You kill some enemies, kill some more, suddenly a tank drives through the gate and you gotta go around to find a conveniently placed rocket launcher to shoot it with, then kill some more, and work at the church and have one guy impale himself on the fence. Classic stuff, happens to me daily. At least it was a pretty painless death, probably. And then you even get a mini boss because this guy takes way more damage than the average guy. Luckily he's not really smart and never really moved from his place. Only got the bomb to defuse left, and all you get after it is a measly "good job lads."
Nuke defused. Good work, lads.
Come on, I deserve a little bit more praise than just that, don't I? Can I get a pay raise or maybe a good job, but only directed at myself? I did most of the work here after all. Why is it saying lads? Like it was me. Drug lab. We are going to Colombia. You know what that means, right? Drugs. Gotta save some hostages and the drugs. Sadly not. We gotta destroy the drug production instead of seizing it for ourselves to create some cheap drugs that we then can sell to the average American citizen to get them addicted to them, so they can either get arrested to feed more money into the private prison system, or letting them rot so they have to go to the hospital often and give them pharma industry bros tons of money. Yay, I just love America. A rather short but sweet mission if there wouldn't be the annoying mosquito sound for like 70% of the stage. I know, it's trying to be realistic a bit, and I'm sure there's tons of cute mosquito families living in the jungle, but come on, you don't need to add them. You go through the tight corridors, and yeah, I'm saying the word corridors a lot in this video, but there's just so many corridors in this game, and just shoot all the enemies while planting explosive drug production machines, and that's pretty much the mission. It's really short. Motorcade Assault. Have you ever been to Italy, the country of pizza and pasta? No? Me neither. Unless this counts. Let's stop these terrorists in the name of good food. The mission starts by you having to bomb some little car, and I'm somewhat of an idiot. So when he gave me the instruction to shoot the first car, I thought he meant me with the rear, because my rear is pretty damn big, if you know what I mean. So I shot the wrong one, which I don't regret because hearing him call me a Schwachkopf was totally worth it. Basically means moron or idiot in German, but in a cutesy way. If you're not a Schwachkopf and shoot the right car, you get attacked and boom, time to kill enemies and make your way through the nice streets of Italy. It's basically just a connection of corridors till you get to the end place, where it throws a couple more enemies at you, and after you kill those two, you're gonna take out the terrorist leader. He's behind bulletproof glass though, so how do we do that? At first I jumped into the water, thinking maybe there's a waterway leading into his apartment, but that was wrong. And since I'm a total Schwachkopf, I couldn't find my way out of it because I was too blind to see the ladders. So I reloaded my save, and this time I checked every corner and was thinking, how the frick do I kill this guy? Then it happened. I opened up a walkthrough and saw there's a gap in his bulletproof glass, and you're supposed to throw a grenade into it to kill him and end the mission. When you got the knowledge that there's a hole, it makes you think, whoa, how could anyone miss this hole? But when you play the game normally and don't know about it, it's just really easy to miss. But I will allow you to call me noob for using a walkthrough for this little bit. Remember when calling someone a noob was a really popular thing back in the day that nowadays nobody really uses anymore? Nowadays people just go straight to banging your mom insults instead of calling someone just a simple noob. We need to get rid of all this hatred, but sadly it's in our human DNA to be mean. Thin ice. Did you know that thin ice is pretty dangerous? Please do not step on pools or little ponds that have a tiny, thin, icy surface because it got too cold for the water and it freezed. But I don't think I have to tell you that, do I? This mission takes place on a boat and it's powered by nuclear stuff, and the terrorists are planning to ram it right into the land, and because the boat can take that pressure it will go boom and the whole city will explode. Reminds me a bit of the plot of Metal Gear Solid 2. Another pretty straightforward mission where you don't have to do anything except shoot people and stop the engines of the boat. But at the end some terrorists take off with a cool plane and try to kill you. Again, why? Your plan already pretty much failed, so why still try to kill me like this instead of just running away? You can live a nice life somewhere in some South American country where they won't follow you. And is a sniper really enough to take down a plane like this? I have no idea since I'm not too much into military stuff, and I would expect them to give me something like a rocket launcher instead. Like in the previous mission or the other mission with the tank, why a sniper? Maybe it can shoot through a plane, I don't know. Downed Pilot, the name of the next mission. We're going to Argentina. Can't wait to meet my idol Messi. Look at how peaceful this is. So much green stuff and even water. Let's just ignore the blood all over the floor. The name of the mission already spoiled it, but you're looking for some downed pilots that were taken hostage, and now it's up to you to rescue them. So you make your way through this pretty nice location. You even get to go through the wreck of a plane. Wow, it's like I'm a tourist here. And then the game has its very own Arno Londo Archer spot. If you ever played Dark Souls, you know what I'm talking about, right? Especially the pre-patched version of it. You go around this corner and there's mines, a guy rushing at you, a sniper in a tree that's hard to hit, and some dude shooting a rocket at you, and another guy with a normal gun. The second the rocket guy sees a pixel of you, he gets ready to shoot, and even if you jump out of the way instantly, you pretty much get hit. It's almost impossible not to get hit, so you have to hope you can kill him in one shot while jumping to the side immediately, and then also hit the sniper after without dying, so you can use the med packs to heal yourself up after. The devs knew what they were doing here with it, or otherwise they would have not put 2 hacking med packs right after it. Then you go through a mine shaft, and sadly you're not allowed to ride the minecarts, even though I love riding minecarts, especially in the Donkey Kong Country games. Making your way through all the way to the enemy base, and then probably getting stuck for a bit because you don't come up with the smart idea of interacting with the PC, since you kind of think this controls the camera aiming at the door and not the door itself. Right after that though, you get to shoot this guy who is supposed to fly right into the fan and getting his guts splattered across the room, I think. But I have the low violence version of the game because I am German and I was too lazy to follow all these steps to get the uncut version. Or maybe he really is just supposed to almost fly into it and then disappear in the midair. It's a bit weird though, since we have already seen a guy earlier getting impaled by the fence, but whatever. German censorship never really made much sense. Shooting more bad guys and jumping behind this wall to see probably one of the developers with whatever the heck that thing is. It's an inflatable animal, but I have no idea what kind of animal this actually is. Somehow it looks like an anteater, but without that long snout. It kind of scares me. You finally find the hostage, shoot more bad guys, blow some things up and try to get back to the surface, but things are suddenly taking a turn for the worse when you're getting gassed. Am I even allowed to say that as a German? Gotta love the German accent though. So you pass out and now you are the hostage inside of a tiny prison cell, but luckily we can just easily break this wall and get a knife and then annoy the frick out of the guard who wants to beat us up for making too much noise. He's not a bright guy, he's just like me, even though my temper doesn't have such a short fuse as his. So now you get all your stuff back, kill more baddies, finally get to the surface and rescue more hostages and kill. Till all of you get rescued. Happy end. A pretty cool mission with some twists and turns. We are going to Japan, yippee! I love being a weeb. We have to protect our VIP, some Japanese politician, but obviously bad things happen and we have to wipe the floor with some more terrorists. And this level may have one of the best atmospheres in the game. Maybe I'm only saying this because I'm a weeb though. It's the only level that has civilians walking around, it has so many different posters that just kinda make you stop and look at them, and there's even a manga store. Look at that fish, I'm pretty sure that's a Simpsons reference. Despite hating the Simpsons, I do remember seeing a fish that looks just like Homer once. Half of the mission I just spent in the manga store though, trying to figure out what manga they are trying to portray, and the only one I could figure out was Shobits, the one with the girl that looks like she's wearing an Alice in Wonderland kind of dress. The original is about an android girl who gets picked up by a boy who always wanted to have one, but is too poor to buy one and blah blah blah. But the girl looks just like the girl on the cover. Why am I saying all of this? To stretch the video a few extra seconds obviously. Now you shoot your way through the streets of Hankagai, and at one point you will notice that the level designers of this level really love pushing boxes. You have to push a box to jump onto a dumpster to get over a fence, and then shortly after you have to do the same thing again. Quiz question, what do you think that you have to do after that? Yep, push a box around to use it to jump somewhere higher again. 3 boxes in a span of 3 minutes, but luckily I love shoving boxes around since I'm totally a fan of hard labor. I love working to get my muscles. Yeah. Throughout the level, you also follow the leader of the terrorists, and at the end you get to have an epic confrontation where he grabs a Japanese schoolgirl and you have to shoot him without killing her. Easily did it on my second try, but I'm 100% sure my first try should have counted. Look at this, I'm right on his head. Fun mission thanks to the layout of the level. Despite playing in just a few streets, it actually feels way more open than it actually is. Turn Off the Crank plays in America in a nice comfy neighborhood somewhere in California, even though it may not be that comfy because it looks really run down. And all you gotta do is deliver some money to the local drug lord so you can have tons of cocaine for yourself. Mission done. They should have called this mission Turn Off the Crack instead and let him sell you crack. Who am I kidding? The second you do the transmission, the cops throw in some flashbangs and try to arrest the dude, but he somehow manages to run away, and now it's up to you to find him and kill him. A pretty straightforward level, except for the beginning where I needed a bit to find my way up the building. There's tons of boxes staying around you can jump on, so you kind of think, oh, gotta use those to do a little jump puzzle, but no, the actual solution is just getting on the car and then getting up. It makes you feel like an absolute idiot sometimes. Most levels are just straight corridors without any open space, so the only way forward is forward. You never really have to backtrack except for a few parts here and there, and since these places are never huge, it makes you think it should be easy to find a way, right? Or maybe my senses also got dulled by newer games that always highlight where you have to go. At least me not finding the right way made me go back into the house to find an actual real weapon and not just a pistol, but then this guy was just blocking my exit. Regardless of what I did, he always just blocked it. Every time he stepped out and I wanted to follow, he just instantly came back to trap me again. Luckily you can just kill him, which I did. Sorry buddy. After getting into the warehouse, it's just you shooting more enemies and jumping on boxes till you reach the end and have a little boss fight, which was pretty easy since you can just shoot and always go back around the corner to wait for him to shoot and then shoot him, and while he's not shooting you can shoot him again and blah blah. I like that the environment was destructible though with his pillars and the glass. It made it feel a bit more special. A short but fun mission. I do enjoy the switch between somewhat longer missions that can go up to like around 30 minutes and a bit more, and then having a mission that's half of that size. Made it easy to play like 4 missions every night without getting too bored of it. It would be extremely easy to play all of these missions in a row, since it would only take you around 3 to 4 hours. But after a few missions, I always felt like I got my fill for the day and stopped. Maybe it's also just me being old, and the older you are, the less you got this childlike wonder for video games that makes you play them daily for hours and hours. The next mission plays in Boshistan, which doesn't exist but is probably based on Balochistan, a region split between 3 countries, Iran, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Thanks for that, Wikipedia. And this one is just really normal. You mow your way through tons of enemies, through the streets, get to the hostages, which you have to lead upstairs, and then you have to kill a few waves of enemies to make your helicopter land. It's just a really forgettable mission, the worst one since the very first. Maybe it's because over the years there have been just so many war games that took place in the Middle East, it's just so dull. But one weird thing about the mission was having to use pipes to get up a place instead of them using a normal ladder. The second I saw them, I knew I can go up there, but I think some not so smart people would not make that connection. Or maybe I'm underestimating the average player. Maybe I'm also just overestimating myself. Maybe it's even both. Luckily, the last mission cranks up the crank. I'm sure that's not how you say it, but still. It goes crazy, but at the same time it also really broke me. It plays in Ireland and is based on the IRA things that happened in the past there, kinda. Except for the fact that the terrorists here managed to somehow get a nuclear device into a tall office building with way too many floors. How is it possible for all of these terrorists in this game to easily get nuclear bombs? It throws so many enemies at you in such tight corridors that you will get hit sometimes because there's just some random enemy right around the corner and then the next corner and then the next. And it has these insanely annoying enemies that look like Wesker from Resident Evil, who basically only exists to run around for you to chase them and waste all of your ammo trying to hit them while they just try to throw grenades and run around the corners. The person responsible for making this enemy hopefully always has his sleeves falling down while washing his hands after using the bathroom to get his sleeves wet. But who am I kidding? A person who creates annoying enemies like this does not clean their hands properly in the first place. So you make your way through it. Kill snipers, kill people with rocket launchers, kill. More shooting, more explosions, blah blah. Get into the elevator, but wow, it stops. Now the level really goes off the rails though, woohoo. Climbing through the elevator, shafts, and getting the best view in the game in multiple ways. It was a different time back then, similar times. But also, who puts posters up here? Is there someone who works in this office building who sometimes just needs a break to jerk off by looking at these? Somewhere between all these elevators? Why not just go to the bathroom and use your imagination? That's way more fun. Or how about not jerking off at work, even though I have done that too before. But it's too much information, I think, but now it's too late to take it back. So now you gotta run around the windows and hope some helicopter won't kill you while there's tons of enemies and also snipers again, but you just push on. You can't let these mini terrorists blow up the place. Keep pushing. We are getting closer and closer to the big baddie. The autosave kinda saving me into a position where I keep getting hit by a grenade when I reload after dying and me being too stubborn to load a save that was 1 minute earlier. But then suddenly you go through a door and the big baddie just uses kung fu moves that you can see since the screen turns black because they didn't want to animate his punches and kicks, I guess, and you wake back up to him standing in front of you with a huge machete and giving you an evil anime villain speech.
And our people will finally be free. Ah, so there's still some fight left in you. So
And letting you take the knife to have a fight to the death. And then this son of a bitch just runs away when you win the upper hand. Come back here, please. At least let me just kill him right here to let him die with some dignity. An epic fight to the death with just a knife to give the game an epic ending. But no. You gotta shoot a bit more, defuse some bombs, and then blowing up the pillar so the guy can't use his remote detonator. But the first time I was a bit too occupied looking at this little cube in the corner and I just let him blow up the place. I easily get distracted sometimes, so I don't think I would make a good soldier. Not like I would want to shoot people anyways, only with water guns. Always remember, killing is bad. Most of the time, sometimes it's okay to kill. Boom, kapow. And he's dead. Look at him just laying in the air. He could have gotten a way better death if he would have just let me knife him. Pin. The end. Das Ende. And so closes the curtain on this campaign. I have to be honest, despite some of the frustration I experienced, it was quite enjoyable and full of variety. Sure, you shoot lots, but there are so many different locations that also sometimes slightly change up the gameplay that it never gets truly boring, and it makes you kinda excited to see where the game is gonna take you next. It surpassed my expectations even though I didn't really had any to begin with, so I guess that doesn't really say much. It's not a must play by any means, but my heart tells me I would recommend this to someone who enjoys the old feel of the Gold Source engine, or people who played the Half-Life campaign and always wanted a bit more of that. Especially with such a wacky development, you really wouldn't expect this to be fairly decent. It really tries its best, and sometimes that's what really matters, isn't it? Unless you have to write an exam and try your best and then still fail. But luckily, this is just a silly video game and not a life-changing experience if you end up failing at it. So keep your chin up, even after some failures, and always strive to become better. I'm sure these empty words from a random person on the internet will help you to achieve your dreams, hopefully. Also, they had way too much fun with these credits. Look at that woman. She's actually a robot, but actually she's like a 2D texture. Damn. Obviously, I have to now add the typical YouTube speak of how if you like the video you can leave a like and also a subscription if you wanna. It's obligatory after all that you say this. But if you wanna do that, it's all up to you. It's all in your hands and I can change that fate for you. So have yourself a good one. Good night, good morning, good evening, and good night. And good afternoon, good noon. All of those things.